Is Zainab around? Z? He's still outside. If you see Zainab, give her a big hug. She's the reason any of these events even happen. She's the lead organizer. We listen to her. We are very afraid to know what is on the other side of a no, so we never say no to her. She will kick your ass around if she does. But she's brilliant. She doesn't sleep. She doesn't even write code, but she's way more part of this community than any of us can ever hope to be. Thank you, Zainab. And of course, every other member of Hasgeek. They're going to come in now and then we'll thank them individually as well. Alright, so, Apu, did all this. Feel free. Do you guys have any questions about the event? How you think we could have made it better? Things we didn't do well? Things we did well? More things about how we did well? Feel free to let us know. We'll pass you a mic. We can talk about it right now. Over there, Hemant.
Yeah, first of all, it was really good being here for the past few days. But few things were very disappointing. Were like a few of the talks which went through the funnel were not really to the mark. I know it's really tough to do the pre-screening, but it would be very helpful if a set of criteria is being listed out. Like this is what we saw in this talk, so it got selected or rejected. So it would be useful for the guys who are trying for the next time, or they'll get to know that they'll probably improve.
Oh, sure. I can actually tell you how the program committee selects the talks, if that helps.
Yeah.
In general, let me give you the overall this thing. If you have any specific concerns, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So what happens is we open up funnel a few months ago. People come and submit talks, and people come and vote on it. Now the voting thing has been rigged before and all that, and we've tried that. So a couple of heuristics that we have on it. One is program committee votes get a little more weightage. And we only vote after we actually discuss it and we have aired our concerns about it. More importantly though, the only votes that do count on the talks are the ones from people who have bought tickets. Okay, so we actually got that in place also this year. Yeah, the code is on github.com/hasgeek, right? Oh yeah, so you're welcome to go see the maths behind it and all that. Beyond that, we actually even call up every single speaker. We look into track record if they've given speeches before. We ask everybody to send in slides. We have been reviewing slides since last week. We have had feedback. A whole bunch of people actually went back, did it again. Despite all this, we totally understand when things go wrong. Okay? We try to keep these things lively. We try to keep it current. In fact, we actually had a theme this year, and that was nice. I think that the talks that were truest to the theme when we were talking about creators, those went off really well. There were some which we thought were really highly voted up. And were useful even from a context of things that people are doing in the JavaScript world right now. Those came up. Some of them were received well. There were some on the creators team that weren't received well. There have been some with very mixed feedback, which is why we are having this feedback session. But yeah, I think I just told you like everything that happens while we try to pick these talks. Now when they actually get up on stage, we just hope for the best. We can't really be the kind of guys who tell them that you have to present it in the way that we expect every word to be a particular way.
Yeah, that I agree, but like I was like looking for a set of parameters. If at all there were any, like you're looking into, like
sure.
It should match these parameters.
So sure, okay. So we were looking for people who are adhering to the theme. We were looking for things that people were interested in, and we were looking into whether it would be a good talk here. In fact, there were a couple of talks that were long talks, which we shortened down to crisp talks, and one I wouldn't even mind giving examples. One example is yesterday's talk, JavaScript is a DJ, was meant to be a long talk, but after a round of feedback with Jason, we realized that it would make sense as a crisp talk, and that actually worked in his benefit. From start to end, it was just brilliant, right? So, yeah, those are the feedback. But if you're saying, do we have like a checklist? Not really, and I think that would be unfair to everybody, because then you wouldn't have strange, brilliant talks come out. We don't want to say that it has to have, 20 lines of Node.js code at least.
I get the point. Not as in hard.
We try our best. I assure you that there's no favoritism or anything. If that's what you're going.
No. I was just curious, like how's the process going? Thank you for the clarification.
Oh, that's the code. Yeah, see, that's the JSON feed of the code. Actually, of all the fun.
So what we look for is for every ticket holder who's voted, you're counted over there separately, which is separate from the overall count. You see on the top, 33 votes is anybody in the internet voting for this. 11 is actual participants. Okay? The rest of them are people who are not participating in the event, so we discount those votes. So you can see here in this case that this one had 3 votes from the committee and 11 from participants. Committee, you can see they voted on 2 different dates, so this is different people voting on different dates. Participants, again, on different dates, you got this many votes. Now, if you notice this, and say on 26, it had 4 votes, on 28, it had 1 vote. One clear indicator is somebody passed the news and said, hey, here's a talk, go vote on it. So, in one way, this is useful to say, if on one day you have a sudden spike of votes, it possibly means that someone's campaigning for votes. Okay? So, that's basically what we do. We, for privacy reasons, we don't actually reveal who voted and what the individual breakdown is. It's only a per day breakdown. It doesn't.
Sure.
It's one indicator. It's a better signal than general voting.
This way, there will be some talks on funnel which look like they've been really highly voted, but we know that they're not really meant to be there. In fact, and mind you, we also take a chance on vetoing stuff that we think should actually be here. For example, very unfortunate that Sucheta fell ill and she couldn't come, but we feel like internationalization and stuff is a really important topic, and we did want her to come speak on it. She's done it in a bunch of places, and she comes from Wikipedia and Wikimedia, where it's being used in a bunch of places. They have open source their internationalization libraries and all, and we knew that it would be a good vote. So in toto, if it looks like there are just 14 votes, we still think that this would be a talk that would make sense at JSFoo. So those are the parameters. We look at whether there's a fit here. Now, whether the speakers actually come and deliver and all, kind of fingers crossed, but we talk to them and we hope that they do their best. We want them to do well, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, this is the first time I am attending JSFoo.
Thanks, man. Come again next year.
And it was awesome. Very good. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thanks a lot. I take credit for those bits. Awesome. Hey, thanks. Thanks a lot. Did you have a problem?
No, I think it was very good. Like, I could meet so many good people, get good concepts, good ideas, great ideas and all. It is very helpful for like developers who are trying to get more knowledge and all. It's very good.
So thanks for mentioning that. If this is the part where I like wax eloquent for my fanboyness for Hasgeek, right? We happen to think that the talks aren't the only thing at these events. The talks are great, but everything that happens outside before I come and scream at you, that has incredible value. That's what the people on the live stream are missing. That is why I am here. That's why all of us come here, because we get to meet people in the same space, talk in a very safe area. We get to meet people from Mozilla. We get to hang out with them, grab a beer. That's brilliant. That's what I feel is like the value that you can get from these events. And that's what Hasgeek's discussion Twitter line was, right? Discussion spaces for geeks. That's what we try to make JSFoo. That's what we try to make Meta Refresh. Any other event. There have been volunteers who work until like 3, 4 in the night. And nobody even goes up to them and says thanks. But they do it because this is what they want to do. This is what they want to make in Bangalore and elsewhere. Question?
So, this is also my first time. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it. But I just hope that, next time the internet connection is proper.
Oh,
so,
man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what? We have top men working on it. Dude, I wanted to like tweet like 500 more things. I wanted to get banned from it. But it just kept failing on me, photos. A couple of things happened. If you know, yesterday everybody started updating iOS. We know who you are. You name your iPad with your thing. I don't want to name names for that because it's probably happening by accident and stuff. But that happened yesterday. Other than that, we had a little hotspot issues yesterday. That being said, even today we had issues with the place. We don't have fiber around this area, right? Right, we have no fiber around here. It's just a standard DSL connection. We are definitely looking at it. We want to throw net. We want you guys to totally sit and surf and check your office mails when your boss thinks you're ill and you're actually shown up at JSFoo. But yeah, you know what? We're looking at it. The internet is definitely being looked into.
In fact, the internet is high priority. The main problem this time was there is no fiber in this area. The only thing available is 4 Mbps DSL, and you got 400 people on that line. Obviously, it's not going to work.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunil?
Where am I looking? All right, yeah.
Yeah, for at least speakers, you can give at least high-speed internet.
Oh, so we actually had wired internet for speakers today. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. Definite feedback. No, we actually got this yesterday itself. We should have done it yesterday.
Because yesterday all speakers told, based on internet we'll see. Based on internet we'll see.
I know, and that's absolutely embarrassing, and we apologize. Very sorry about that. We're definitely looking into it. The internet thing, big issue. Definitely. We like the venue. Correct? Yeah, that's the 5 gigahertz network.
Yeah, in general, if you can get on the 5 gigahertz network, get on it, mainly because others can't access it. Most people still have older devices that don't support 5 gigahertz.
Yeah.
So that's why it's faster.
And he tells us this now. Quickly, go download your stuff. iOS update right now. Okay, any more questions?
Yeah. Great show, firstly. Secondly,
Thank you.
I had tweeted about coffee. I actually needed coffee after the great lunch, and then there was coffee, so that was a nice thing.
Great.
But
Food, man, everybody loves
on a serious note, try not to distribute the feedback forms while the talk is going on, because it's distracting for the speakers and the audience as well.
Absolutely, big mistake on our part this time.
So,
and
never going to happen.
Mistake on second day again, despite instructions.
Yeah, it's never going to happen again.
So try and give it out with the kit.
You know what? That's great feedback. Absolutely, you will get feedback forms in your kit.
One of the reasons why you're not in the kit is most people tend to leave it on the chair and forget about it.
No, but
nobody wants to be walking
we will
around
never
with...
distribute it during a speech again. Absolutely right. Thank you for bringing that up.
That's all I guess.
It is.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was terrible. Very sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah. Or you can just scream it.
Just a suggestion for the internet, for the speakers. Get this pocket 3G routers with LAN and with Wi-Fi, whatever. You can have 3 of those things. Just give it to the speakers and not use that connection at all. Have a separate line itself. That also gives you fallback.
Yeah, absolutely noted. I think this dedicated internet connection thing is making a lot more sense.
It's very cheap. I mean, you can get a 3G connection for...
ThoughtWorks is sponsoring that next time.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah. Actually, so the only way to make 3G work is if you use 3G from a company that nobody actually buys connections from. So you go to someone like MTS. Nobody has an MTS connection.
Yeah, let's do MTS. MTS, if you're hearing, sponsorship opportunity.
I'd like to respond to the internet thing. So all these broadband connections that you have, the speeds they give you are not dedicated to you. It is the maximum speed possible at the tower. So you have a 3 Mbps connection, it's 3 Mbps at the tower and everyone in that area. So if you have people around here...
Oh, really? Oh.
Yes.
TIS.
So you'll never get 3 Mbps on that.
Look,
whereas our DSL line gives us more bandwidth than any of these mobile broadband things will give you.
Look, in general though, I want to assure everybody here that the internet connection issue is definitely being looked into. And I hope it didn't color your what I hope was a great experience for the rest. We definitely apologize. We are looking into it. We are internet junkies. And it was weird not being able to tweet at the time or read other people's tweets.
Except when it came to robots on stage.
I know, you guys, we were seeing the tweets. We have images, so you should retweet that right now. We have everybody saying, Christian over there tried to make it take off. But yeah.
Sunil?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any, place where we can see all the presentations available in the page after this session, and then code which they have shown?
Okay, so the speakers, they have been tweeting out links, and as we see them, we have been retweeting it on the JSFoo India account. That's one thing. Second is all the talks are going to be put up on Hasgeek.tv. Like, you can just relive the thing again. You could make your internet connection a little sucky at the time to match it, of course.
Okay.
But yeah, that's going to be happening. But we are trying. If all the speakers, if there are any more speakers over here, and just tweet a link to us and make sure you mention at JSFoo India, and we will very happily retweet it.
Yeah, and for speakers, please go put the slides in your original funnel proposal. So that's where we'll go look for it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go to funnel.hasgeek.com, your proposal, and you can just add the slides over there. We'll catch it over. That will go on to hasgeek.tv then. Yeah.
For the speakers and whoever has a demo, generally it's good to have a fallback option. You will be doing dry runs, just have a video recording or a slide of your dry run and then have it, because even with good internet, you don't know about your horoscope.
Okay. So based on the experience we had last time with Rakesh's robot, Rakesh actually gave out feedback to all the other hardware guys, record a video. In fact, that happened to Ameya and he played the video and thankfully that went fine. Even Shrijesh had a video ready. What other? Even our man Shrikant Gaddafi, even he had a video ready. The thing was, is he around? No, okay. Anyway, but point being that I think you're right. I think that should be a general rule across all demos now. We were just thinking hardware in our head and I think the internet connection thing we didn't really consider. We figured people just might try a local server. That's definitely something that slipped between the cracks. But yeah, it is going up on the thing that we send out to all speakers now. Video, everything. Absolutely, no. I think the best person who actually used the video to his benefit was Francis Talk, if you guys were there for it yesterday. Some of us didn't even notice that he was actually showing a video as a demo, but it was brilliant. It was just perfect. Is he around? Give him our hugs. That was perfect. Where's Francis? He's sitting outside. Okay, alright. Yeah, so, but definitely across the board for speakers, yeah, we definitely want videos or some form of fallback. At least run like a server on your machine if you can't load it off the net. Questions? More?
Why only Bangalore, not Pune and Chennai?
Okay, see, even I used to think like, why not Pune? I like going Pune, we'll go Chennai, Bombay, free tickets and all that. Dude, this is a big deal to actually organize this thing. It seems simple. That's why like the things that actually failed, in the grand scheme of things, there are like 500 other things that could have failed, okay? And that itself is really hard to do just locally. Previously we have had editions at Pune, we have had editions at Chennai, we even did a mini JSFoo at Udupi. That was crazy. It was great. It was great. And whatever. So we have already tried this, but Hasgeek is only as so many people, man. And it boils down to them. It's all very good to say that you might have volunteers and all, but that's thousands of dollars in electronic equipment. You need to make sure you have an internet connection. You need to talk to vendors, how to handle catering, transport for speakers, accommodation, not just for speakers, people coming in, there'll be people to coordinate, etc., etc. And I'm pretty sure that's like 5% of this.
And on average, about 4 or 5 phone calls every 10-15 minutes asking for help. If you're not a local person, you have no idea where to tell them to go find accommodation.
Can you imagine if all of us went to Bombay and we started getting calls, where do I go? I don't know, take the metro. What do we say? No, people will get lost. I'm not, like, it's funny, but people will get lost. What do we do then? Like, there are way too many ISOs. That being said, I'm pretty sure the national scene is on Hasgeek's roadmap. Just have to figure out how to do it smoothly.
Yeah. So, to also throw in some numbers on that, an event of this sort costs roughly about 10 lakhs to organize. That's expenses. And the Pune and Chennai editions, when we last did them, got total revenue of about 2 or 3 lakhs. Which means then that you're going to lose money trying to do a conference of this quality anywhere else. Unless enough people actually will pay for a ticket. So that's what runs the conference. So that's really the challenge in most places, that everybody wants it cheap and free because that's what they're used to. You can't get a good conference for that.
It's a lot simpler, no? Like what we could do also is like kick up like sponsorship brackets and all that, but then this thing ends up becoming a conference defined by sponsors. And we'd rather that it be financed by the people who are actually showing up for it. So there is that kind of balance. Anyone else?
Yeah, this is for all the speakers who came via Mozilla. You guys have seen a lot of conferences and given a lot of talks yourself. So I want 2 things. One is how can we, as speakers from here, improve ourselves? The second thing is how can event improve from what you have seen all around?
This is a question to the Mozilla guys.
Yes.
Please give them a mic. Christian, Robert, Ali, please, absolutely. Pele up. Oh, please, yeah.
Yeah, holy crap.
I'm going to go what I understood right now. This is okay. Our job here was to come here and basically make sure that more can happen in India. We can't answer the question when you're going to get Firefox OS phones, so please don't do it any longer. We came here for a whole week. The first 2 days we did training with the Mozilla representatives to actually get them become better speakers. So I started the Evangelism Reps program in Mozilla because we are old and we don't want to travel much anymore and we cannot. So it makes much more sense to train these guys up here and others that were outside to actually give talks on our behalf, because then we don't have the problem of when tomorrow he's flying tomorrow morning, I'm flying the day after. I have to be in Sweden 2 days later. I have to be in Santa Clara a week later, San Francisco 3 weeks later for different conferences. So I will not be able to answer all your questions, to answer all your emails. Somebody local can do that. So we came up with that program to coach people locally and to introduce them to you as well, to give them the street credibility or stage credibility to go up on stage on the behalf of Mozilla instead of just sending the cool guy from the Western world over and then basically like, yeah, whatever, I'm going back home again. So, as I said yesterday, I was super impressed with what happened here. It's for the craziness that is India that I encountered in the last years I came here. This was one of the most smoothly running ones I've ever seen. And I mean, just the graphics and stuff is just wonderful what's happening here. Also, all the other speakers have done a really good job. Today I fell asleep once, and he has pictures, so I'm saying that now before he blackmails me. But I was just because for 4 days I've slept 3 to 4 hours each night just to make that happen. So we put all of our efforts in to actually talk to anybody we can and make this thing happen. So we never normally do 3 workshops and 2 keynotes in 1 week. That's not that crazy even. So it works. It's like
the same place, you and I.
Yeah. It's really like we want to get local people to get up on stage, and the good thing is we're going to have a summit from Mozilla in Santa Clara in California, which is a terribly boring place. So we have no chance but to talk to each other there because there's nothing else to do. And all the Mozilla representatives from India are coming over there. So there will be more sessions there. So we want to introduce Mozilla and what we do with events and what we do with Firefox OS through the community here, rather than just coming and saying like, we're awesome, use our stuff and we're leaving again, because that's not going to help anybody. That's why we supported this event as well, because people asked us for all kind of sponsorship. Every week we get like about 20 sponsorship requests. And we had to fight to come here because we had other events to actually go to as well. There were other bigger events that wanted to have like, oh, you're standing next to the Ubuntu guy and you have to say something because otherwise people go to Ubuntu. It's like, well, it's open too. Let them go. So instead we said like, we want to do this and we want to make it a 10-day trip because otherwise it's not worthwhile. So I hope we got something out of it. I hope you talk to the guys here as well. Also sign up for the Mozilla representatives in India if you want to get more about our stuff. I think this was very, very much worthwhile, and although I'm totally knackered, I think I would do it again, but I don't need to do it again. So next time I come, probably I do not many talks, but more trainings and get more into the people here in general in the community, not only speaker training for Mozilla guys, but we could do a session about how to become a speaker, how to do good documentation, how to do good blog posts, these kind of things. That's what I'm sharing right now, because I want to clone myself. I don't want to do everything myself. If I get hit by a bus, which is very, very easy to do in this city, I just want to make sure that my legacy and my information goes to other people and they spread it out for me. So whatever we give out here is also Creative Commons. So use that in your own slide decks, impress your boss with it, get a better job. So thanks very much for everything.
Robert?
Yeah, so I think the conference was very well organized. I think people behaved well. I think the speakers did really well. My general advice for, speakers and attendees, you can never rely on Wi-Fi, wherever you go in the world. Like, it could be whatever. You can go to a Cisco conference, you're not going to have a proper connection. So that's
wired.
Well, and I think as a presenter, you can never rely on a demo working. Like, you can try, but you need to sort of give up after 15 minutes because it's not going to happen. So always have a backup plan. You can have a screencast that Francois had, or just pictures or something and talk about it. I did like the format as well with having slightly longer talks, 30, 40 minutes, and then the short talks in the middle by lunch, and then a couple longer and a couple shorter. I think it broke things up well. It felt more fluid and more alive. And everything is really, really good. I really have no complaints. I think it's also a general thing, and that I guess you have the same in maybe in Germany. But I think for me in Sweden, it's
Dude, I haven't been in Germany in 15 years. I live in England.
well, if you listen. So I think one thing, and I don't know if you experience this, but if you do, I think you should think about it. That's the hardest critique always comes for local people. Like if I go to another country and speak, you know, people assume that I know more or that I'm better. But if you have someone, I don't. Well, if you have someone local, the critique is much harder. So I think you sort of need to open up and accept local people. And local people can be great. It doesn't have to be someone from another country to be excellent, right? So, you know, you should be proud of yourselves. Like everyone that I've seen here from India have done great. And it's really hard to give a talk. So, you know, help each other instead. Support each other. Give good constructive criticism instead of, you know, getting personal. And, well, stay Indian. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. Does that answer your question? Alright, any more questions, guys? Any feedback? You can tell us what we did wrong.
Hi. First of all, kudos to the JSFoo team. Brilliant show. And
Thank you. Kudos to Hasgeek, man. They do it all.
Hasgeek and the sponsors as well. It's my first time at JSFoo and I really enjoyed it both the days. So one thing, I'm a JavaScript developer and I love JavaScript. And I was expecting more mature topics like things on ECMAScript, and you know, the only thing I saw was the 5-minute talk on Harmony. And probably just a suggestion, next time you could set some topics and find speakers for it. Some specific topics that should be at a JS conference and, you know, should be covered.
So, like, this should be at a JS conference is interesting because our actual theme wasn't even like about JS, right? It was about creative.
Right.
Yeah. And last year, the kind of feedback that we got was that you shouldn't go too technical.
Right, but probably you could have one talk for those who...
We tried to figure out a balance. That's why we had a data binding framework talk. I know we didn't have an ES6 talk.
Right.
And I apologize for that. And we didn't have a build systems talk also.
Right.
But
Node.js also.
You know, absolutely. But I think our deal, we were starting off and we were like, if it is a talk that you could probably Google and get a tutorial on, then that's not the talk that we want here. We want something that would be unique, something that somebody has built by themselves, and a platform to actually present it to people in close, get questions directly from them.
Right.
But that being said, thank you for your feedback, and I do think that even like personally, I do think we want some technically more mature talks, and that is definitely going to happen.
Yeah, right. Thanks.
As you guys are leaving out, don't forget to leave your lanyards and the feedback forms.
Okay,
but don't leave.
It was a very well-organized conference, but one more thing I would like to focus on was the workshop organized by JSFoo for the previous 2 days. So those 2 workshops, those 2 days workshop was very nice, and especially the workshop on Meteor.js was very nice, and people are very enthusiastic to work on those things. So I'd like to give kudos to Hasgeek and JSFoo for organizing those workshops.
Absolutely. That just, like, we didn't even expect it to go out as well as they did. I'll just be honest. They submitted talks on Funnel. They seemed interesting, and we were like, you know what? We should give these guys a workshop, a nice place to handle it out. And the response has been phenomenal for it. There was the Express workshop. There was a Meteor.js workshop. There were obviously the Firefox workshops. Today we had the Tizen and Microsoft workshops. And you know what? The response to them in general have been like beyond anything. So I do think like we should probably do something more with that. But we'll be thinking about it. But absolutely, the workshop thing is working out really well for us.
Actually, this is also my first time at JSFoo, and it was amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you for organizing it so well. But I have a small suggestion, maybe something you can think over, because some people said they wanted more technical, some people may not want something technical, so you could have like 2 streams. One could be more like for the technical people. And
I'll tell you, so we actually had 2 tracks last year, right? And there are some of our Hasgeek events where we do have 2 tracks, especially, I mean, we had close to 100 talks submitted on Funnel, and we had to pick under 20. So it's really hard for us. Last time when we actually had 2 tracks, we were having feedback, don't know which track to go to. Missing this talk, missing that talk. Especially when the quality is really good. So it's something that we try to balance. This year we actually made the conscious decision to have 1 track and see how it will go. And that's like, it's a rolling thing. Like every year, every event we'll be working on it to see what the actual proper balance is. Because what works at JSFoo might not work at Meta Refresh, might not work at Fifth Elephant, might not work at Cartoonama, but some things do. And yeah, we're constantly working on that. But thank you. So you figure like you do want multiple tracks and more talks. Is that it?
I mean, that's something that you can think
That we
of.
could do, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, something more technical and something less
More
technical.
creative. Fair enough. Okay. All right. Thank you. Over there.
Hi. This was my second Hasgeek event, and I really liked it.
Which
It's
was
good.
your first?
Fifth Element this year.
Those guys suck. The JavaScript guys are better. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I had the same point. I was just wondering why you were not having parallel tracks this time. Yeah.
Because the kind of feedback that we got, it was kind of based on last year, and we were looking at the venue and possibly the kind of event we wanted. We wanted a dedicated audience at one place. And like we had a full house this time for JSFoo. How great is that? We were so happy to see everyone in one place. And you don't really have to make the decision just based on a schedule which talk you want to see. That's what we were experimenting with. But it seems like there are people who wouldn't mind 2 tracks, and maybe that's what we'll do next year.
Maybe have a poll or something which talks people are interested in. Then based on that, you split into 2 tracks.
Absolutely. No, that's just it. Like I said, at this point we are having close to 100 submissions. And it's making it really hard, like it's a great problem to have, especially like we have so many high quality talks. But yeah, it's something that we are definitely looking at.
Thank you.
Know that? Why? It's a JavaScript conference. No, okay, yeah. We actually, you know what? The Flash Talks went off really well this year. We definitely want to do more of it. We keep having them at Bangalore JS, by the way. You should totally visit. That's just fun. Bangalore JS is great. Jonathan and Barbara. Oh yeah. So now I guess like the people are actually knowing what they want in a Flash Talk. Get to the demo, quickly show what you have and all that. Try to stay away from the theory. We're even actually considering having Flash Talk submissions on Funnel itself, you know. You actually spend a month preparing the best 5-minute talk of your life. Think about it. Some of these people actually just made it yesterday. And that's, you know, for that, I think it was a phenomenal 45 minutes. It was pretty mental, all the running around and all. And Jonathan and Barbara, they did a great job. Give it to them. But yes, again, it's something that we did the crisp talks this time this was the first time that we did it, and the response has just been great. And it's great because now we know that there are talks that work as 20-minute sessions. So 5-minute sessions as well. We probably have more of that. At least maybe once a day. Like we could have had one yesterday as well.
Hey, Sunil, hi. So I've been to all the JSFoos and most of the meta refreshes as well.
True fan.
I like the single track format better. Maybe you should do a
like a poll. You guys want me to do like a quick poll right now for the few people left? Single track. Dude.
So I had I really like the JSFoo Hack Night we had last year. So we have got this Hack Day, coming up tomorrow, right?
Oh, I do want to announce that to whoever's left here. We have a brilliant Hack Day happening. I did announce it once. It's happening at APG campus in Koramangala. You can look it up on Google Maps. It's APIGEE. They love APIs. That's their line. And that's great because it's not just JSFoo Hack Day actually. It's JSFoo plus DroidCon. There are Android hackers and JavaScript hackers and people with some time to kill who will be coming down. There'll be mentors. We hope to see people building some great stuff over there.
So I have a suggestion based on my experience last year.
Okay.
Which was, people came with a preset idea in their mind, like, I'm gonna do this at the hackathon. And there was, as a result of that, less collaboration than there could have been. So I think that maybe, you have a format where at the beginning of the day, people vote on what projects there are and you choose a limited number of projects and then everybody kind of just joins in.
Well, that's kind of hard, no? Would you rather that these guys decide what they want to work on, or we decide what they?
Oh no, let the participants vote on them. So I attended a hackathon.
Feature proposal for Hack Night, basically. Hacknight.in. Absolutely, yeah. I think that sounds great. Basically, you're talking a lot more, talking about the projects that are going to happen before the actual Hack Day, right?
We could do it at the Hack Day, like in the morning, maybe take half an hour out and let people pick, form teams. Rather than everybody working on whatever it was that they wanted to come.
Okay, exactly. Awesome. Okay, I guess that'll happen tomorrow. Let's have like a quick session in the morning. Okay, let's like quickly. Yeah.
This was my first time here, so
So many first timers. I'm loving it. Thank you all for coming. Yes.
yeah. So just a small suggestion that they are talking of being more technical and being more creative. So if everybody could include a prerequisite that their talk is going to be, so it will be helpful for us who are coming for first time and not very familiar with JavaScript.
Oh, okay. We actually assumed that the titles and stuff were good indicators, but yeah. I know intermediate and all that, but fair enough. I think we should be a little more clearer when we are making schedules and on the website and all what the talk involves.
I mean, they can be submitted by the speaker themselves, and who are new, they can go through it and they can look up it.
So what also happens is that each of these talks that are selected, the speakers actually have they do a little video, if you have noticed, saying what they're going to be talking about. You can check that out. And there are comments on the funnel and so on. Can we get the Hasgeek team in here?
Yeah.
Hey Radha, did you get all the Hasgeek players? Yeah, any more questions? Yeah, but absolutely. Okay, we'll try to be clearer about what's happening at the event.
Oh, by the way, recursive loop about to start.
What's going to start? Oh, recursive. Okay, this is going to be fun. And
it's going to kill our bandwidth if I try to actually play that.
Yeah, it's fine. No, so any more questions, guys? Okay. What do you want to do, Karen? Let's get Hasgeek on stage, man. This is your thing. Hasgeek. Volunteers.
Most of them are still outside.
Yeah, call them in.
Visha, come on.
Yeah, get everyone. No one's going to steal your NFC. Alright. Nobody should.
So tomorrow you'll see one more item in this list. You can guess what it is.
Absolutely, all the volunteers. Anybody who has a Hasgeek badge that's not participant. So yeah, see JSFoo 2013 preview videos. Those are actually the speakers talking about what they're going to be talking about and what. Maybe we should publicize that a little more. But we did. We tweeted it on Hasgeek and JSFoo. Dude, get on Twitter. Anyone else? No volunteers?
Jitendra, you can leave the camera now and come. Savik, come up. Savik is the man who built the website.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Savik Dasgupta. Ladies and gentlemen, Hasgeek. None of this happens without them. Z, some words, please.
Okay, I'll shout to all of you later. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming to JSFoo. I still don't know much about JavaScript, but thanks Christian for coming over. I think it made a huge difference. Thanks John, Barbara, despite everything, together, and lots of people helped us together. And yeah, I think real time was setting down such a strong consistency this time, and I think it's very different because all this while we've been having representation from IE, but it's really made a huge difference to have others around as well and to expose technology. Thank you also to SwissNext. The initial commitment was to sponsor one person, Blockbuster, but they were really gracious enough to increase the sponsorship and make it good. And I think it made a big difference with both Renault and Olivia being around here. Thanks also to the sponsors, Microsoft, GripCity, ActiveSphere, Tizen, Adobe, Fusion Chat, ThoughtWorks. It makes a huge difference in helping us run the event and in helping us run the company. Thanks to all of you for coming over.
Everybody say thank you to Zainab Bawa, lead organizer. Awesome. On that note, guys, thank you for coming to JSFoo 2013. Feel free to tweet at us. Feel free to send emails and let us know. Let us know what we can do better. Tell us what you liked. And thank you. Thank you.